Yo, this is your boy Oda coming to you with part 46 of the Crochet Basics. Thank you so much for the birthday love, and we're going to go ahead and jump into it. This stitch right here has many names, but it's called the flower stitch, or even someone said the marijuana stitch. I don't know why, but it's pretty cool and it's pretty easy. Let's jump in. To start, we're going to do multiples of 6 plus 3. So what I decided to do is do 27. So we're going to do a chain of 27 to start off this row. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. You know what? I'll see you at the end. So to begin, we're going to skip the first 5 stitches, and then we're going to go into the 6th stitch and do a puff stitch. So yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, go into the same stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, go into the same stitch and pull up a loop. Now, you should have 7 on your hook. I'm going to need you to chill for a second. Stop. The very last stitch we want to make sure we keep. So we're going to yarn over, pull through all the loops except for the last one, and then you should have 2 on your hook, yarn over and pull through. That'll lock it in place, but those stitches are going to be used later on. So what we're going to do is chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. And now we're going to be working right into that chain 6 again because we're going to do 2 more puff stitches. So we're going to yarn over, insert our hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, insert, pull up a loop. And remember, the last loop on your hook we want to keep. Pull through all those loops. You'll have the last loop and then yarn over and pull through. Okay, so we got to do one more. So chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. And we're going back into that same stitch again with another puff stitch. The last loop we're going to keep, yarn over, pull through all except for the last loop, and then finish it off. And that right there, my friends, is your first flower or leaf. I think it looks more like a leaf. So what we're going to do is we're going to skip 5 chains and then into the 6th again and do the same exact thing we did before. So I'm at my 6th chain, going to yarn over, pull up a loop. We're going to do our first puff stitch here. Great. Okay. Remember, keep that last loop on the hook and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. Go back into that 6th chain again with another puff stitch. Okay, this is the 2nd puff stitch. And this is pretty easy, you guys. Very, very easy. Chain your 3, 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going right back into that same chain again with another puff stitch. Okay, great. Then remember, the last loop on the hook we want to keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. Okay, we're going to continue this all the way to the end of the row. So I'm finishing off my last puff stitch right now of the row, and you should have 3 left on your hook. What you're going to do is in the first chain, you're going to put a single crochet, and that'll end off the row. Great. Okay, great. So we've completed row 1. Now let's go into row 2. For row 2, we want to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then turn our work. Now, what we're going to do is, I'm going to have you stop for a second, just chill. The 2nd puff stitch, we're going to be working above the 2nd puff stitch of each cluster. Okay? So, we're going to be doing 1 single crochet into that top 2nd puff stitch. Now, we're going to be doing this along the entire row. Okay? So now we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we're going to go to the next cluster, and in the 2nd puff stitch, we're going to do a single crochet above it. So the very top of it. Okay? This is easy. This is the easy part. We're going to continue with a chain 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to go to the next 2nd puff stitch of the cluster, and we're going to do a single crochet. This will set us up for the next row. We're going to continue this, and I'll see you at the end. So I'm at my very last cluster of puff stitches. I'm going into the top of the 2nd puff stitch with a single crochet. Now stop. You need to do 1 double crochet into the first chain of that turning chain. Okay, so we're going to do 1 double crochet into the first chain. Cool, great. And that finishes off row 2. Now to continue, we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Of course, turn your work. Now remember those single crochets we created in the previous row? We're going to be working into those now. Now we're going to be working our puff stitches into that single crochet. So puff stitch, chain 3, puff stitch, chain 3, puff stitch, chain 3. So right now I'm doing my first puff stitch. Remember, the last loop on your hook is very important. We want to make sure we keep that. So pull through all of them except for the last one and do a single crochet and then do chain 3. So let's go ahead and do that again. So we're going to be working into the same exact stitch. So yarn over, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, insert, pull up a loop, and then we're going to yarn over and pull through all of the loops except for the last one, and then finish off with a single crochet and chain 3. I know that's a tongue twister, but yeah, it's a little bit of a process. Okay, so I'm doing my last puff stitch, and I lost my hook, of course. Now we're going to be working along the row using those single crochets that we made on the top of the second puff stitch from the previous row. So we're going to be doing those clusters, and I'll see you at the end. So now I'm just showing you just a lapse of how I'm working into these stitches right now. And to be truthfully honest, this is very safe, a very friendly type of stitch that is really cool. And if you have designed clothes or anything, this is good for like a mesh top. If you're in a very hot area, we're about to get some cold weather soon, so if you like a mesh top, this is a perfect stitch for it. So I'm working into my very last single crochet that I made with my puff stitches, chain 3 puff stitches. Remember that last stitch is very important. So I'm here, I'm chaining 3 and then going back in with another puff. And tension is key here too, keep that in mind. Okay, so I'm doing my very last chain 3 and then a puff. Okay, great, going back into that same chain 1 space we made in the previous row. Okay, cool. So there you go. In the turning chain that we made from the previous row, we want to do a single crochet into the third chain. Into the third chain in that sequence to finish it off. Cool. To continue, we're going to be doing the row repeat again. Chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And turn our work, of course. And then we're going to be doing our single crochets into the top of the second puff stitch across the row. And then chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then go into the top of the second puff of the next cluster and do a single crochet, and doing that across the entire row. So we're going to be working this across the entire row. And I just wanted to say to everyone, thank you so much for following my page. My page has really grown with just the sheer bliss of positive vibes, and I just wanted to say thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. So let's continue. So right now I'm doing my last chain 5 and then going into the second puff stitch of the last cluster with a single crochet. And now at the very end, we're going to do a double crochet into the first chain. And there you go. That is the flower / plant stitch. It has multiple names. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you so much for following along. And as usual, follow for more.